Good evening, everybody. Elizabeth Diamond here from the Diamond Network. We're here on Tuesday, December 29th, 2015, for the Diamond Network Voices from the Alternative World, where you'll learn a lot about forthcoming things to prepare yourself into the golden age. And these are different styles of living, different styles of thinking, different styles of doing not the same thing over and over again. We're going to do something about Groundhog Day this year. Anyway, let me give it to Sunny, and just be sure Diamonds Network is giving you a special chance to be a different kind of benefactor. And for a small fee, you can attend the Pioneering History call that we're doing. Me and Chris will be doing, bringing the Galactics in and coming in their own voice or their own language. So we'll see what happens on Test Call Pioneering the Galactic Wise Brothers and Sisters in January sometime. So if you want to attend that, you can give me a call at, now of course I don't have my right number, 612-970-6120, I think. Anyway, it's on all these recent shows. So let's give it to Sunny or Dale to start with the Law of One. Here we go.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, here we are again, and we're going to talk about intentional communities this evening, and going to give some research on a few communities that I've been looking at, and Dale has. So to start out, we will do the Law of One, and we will do it with a focus on people coming together and sharing and cooperating and creating this new world that we so much envision. So, we are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. And I am one with all there is. And we are all one with everyone on the planet, and we want to be able to come together and serve and work together for the common good of all. So therefore, I ask that only that which serves the greater good of all happen here and now and throughout all time and space. And so it is. So be it. I was going to give some definitions here of different forms of communities. This is very basic, but the first one is the commune, and that one is where just about everything is shared and held in common. And then there's the eco-village, which is organized around ecology and sustainability, and that can be a commune as well, because these would all be combined. And then there's the co-housing, which is more people owning their own houses, but in a group on common property where they interact with each other, but they own their own houses. And then we have a couple of these here in Nevada County. And then there's just the shared housing, which we are pretty well familiar with, where there's one house and people live together in the house in whatever way they see fit. So these are just some definitions. Of course, some of the communities are focused around spiritual practices, and some of them are just practical, but I think the large majority of the ones that I've been looking at lately have been with an eco-sustainability focus. That's just like the overriding characteristic of most of these, and that's certainly what we need. So, Dale, you want to read something about the Fellowship for Sustainable Communities?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to read you is, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dale Blomé, and tonight's focus is the world of intentional communities, and so we're going to lay down some of the groundwork that's been done in preparation for tonight's show and later shows. So anyway, this is a summary of notes taken at a talk by Laird Schaub, who is retiring executive secretary and primary founding member of the Fellowship of Intentional Communities in Oakland, California. And this talk that he gave was in October 22nd of 2015, just a couple of months ago. And so anyway, it shows basic info, history, and plans for the future. The Fellowship of Intentional Communities was founded in 1987, and the valued services they provide intentional communities with resource for problem solving. 2, provide media relations for the promotion that promotes intentional communities. Promotes and functions successfully as a co-op, not just the image. Their own organization does it internally too. Number 4, articulates intentional community issues. 5, publishes intentional community directory and magazine. 6, serves as major info and networking resource for intentional communities and people interested in them, online and via regional conferences and gatherings. These are the standards. They don't judge intentional communities, but they must tell the truth about their practices. So when they go out, when you list your intentional community in their directory, they want an honest evaluation or description of what your community consists of. And as we go down here, as I scroll down and as the talk proceeds, this is a history timeline. It was founded in 1987. In 1990, published a directory. At first, it was a hard copy only. Today, both he and online gets 45,000 visits a month. And 1995 published the Communities magazine, and 1994 went online as www. This is an important one to write down if you want to get online. It's www.ic.org, and it looks like there's a little hyphenated mark about the I, but I think you might just try www.ic.org, and you may be successful. But it's basically, the Fellowship of Intentional Communities. If you just Google that, it'll take you to the site. And so they went online in 1994. In 1997, held the first Art of Community regional conferences for live networking and education. And then they started the Intentional Communities bookstore. I'm assuming that's in Oakland. And in 2000, the bookstore was online, began producing educational videos, including vignettes of various intentional communities with Jeff Kozney. And then in 2004, the Communities directory went online. The Fellowship of Intentional Communities hired a business manager. In 2005, the survey showed intentional community population in the U.S. 0.03%, and this was in 2005, or 0.3% or 100,000 folks. So as of 2005, there was a population of 100,000 people living in intentional communities. And then 2005, started the Intentional Community Wiki and Buzz Stories, made uniform design on website and the magazine. And 2009, there was a new global initiative, such as with Global Eco Village Network. Now that's another organization that you want to write down. It's called the Global Eco Village Network, and they probably have their own site. And then in 2010, they went on the website, on Facebook, and the U.S. Fair Housing Law means Fellowship of Intentional Communities not allowed to mention intentional communities info on kids, gender or sex. So apparently there's some communication laws regarding those specific words. And in 2011, there were more initiatives and collaborations, and the Global General Progressive organizations. So the whole international intentional community network was moving forward globally by 2011, and 2012 and 2013, the Best of Communities magazine in a streaming format. So and doesn't refer how to get to that magazine, but it's probably the access is probably on their website. In 2015, the Fellowship of Intentional Headquarters office to Dancing Rabbit Eco Village with straw bale office space, and more room. So at that point, they moved their headquarters to that. They're actually in an eco village. In 2016, a new FIC executive secretary from Twin Oaks Community will go to replace founding member Laird Schaub, who will semi-retire. So there's a new executive secretary. So they've done some big things here. So the headquarters is actually in an intentional community now, and the fellow who gave this talk at the time and is retiring. So that position's executive secretary is already transformed into the new man. Let's see, I got to do a little scrolling here.
Where is their eco village located? Where they are now?
Let me get down here.
Okay.
It's down toward the bottom. Okay, Dancing Rabbit Eco Village. So in their directory, on the website, the fellowship's website, the Dancing Rabbit would be listed there. It's called Dancing Rabbit. So, the next segment is, what does the Fellowship of Intentional Community do today, and what are the plans forward? And this is going to be interesting. So, helps connect intentional communities with similar values. Shows currently active intentional communities. There's a 2015 list. The directory shows 1,005 intentional communities in the United States. Note, communities must verify listings regularly or get removed from the list. So it's a growing, it's multiplying as we speak. The Roots inquires to communities for response via directory. So there's directions to these various communities, and reaches out to and networks with new allies. Examples: worker co-ops and collectives like Rainbow Foods in San Francisco, and intentional communities for retirees. 5, encourages and assists with social and resource transition from individual ownership to access. Example: Dancing Rabbit Village owns 5 vehicles to serve a population of 60 to 70 people and has 98% success rate of vehicle availability for members' needs. Now, this is really, really significant when it comes to sustainability. See, so we have just really basically a lot of sheet metal rolling around burning up fuel that we don't need if we just put our heads together and work cooperatively. Helps provide it's kind of like, Sonny, I don't want to own a boat. I just want to have a friend who owns a boat. So
it makes much more sense to share these large things.
Yeah, the idea is part of the thought here is, possessions they possess you. The fewer you have, the better off you are.
The more big things you can share, the more you can have, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bingo.
Right.
How long have we been we're stumbling around on this planet that took us to get to that idea? So, helps provide education and training on intentional community-related social skills. Now, this is where it really provides a service, because conflict and dispute resolution methods that works, laws and legal system options, financial sustainability, eco-sustainability and practices, etc. And it's, this is what's going on, and then plans in the future will produce new intentional community videos. Will continue to serve as major cooperative living intentional community info resource, clearinghouse, and networking center. Miscellaneous more. California's East San Francisco Bay Area and Oakland has greatest concentration of ICs in the USA. Wow. And that the other thing is there was one little congressman, and I forget her name, in Oakland, and she was the only dissenting vote against going into Iraq. So there's a lot of light there, So let's see.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting that it's in Oakland. There is a community listed that I ran across, 611 community, or that's in Oakland.
And that was from Daniel Neeland, and if there's time at the end of the program, we had quite an exchange of 3 or 4 emails that really it typifies the kind of conversations that Daniel and I have, and it's fundamentally an overview or macro. It's kind of like the Federal Reserve Board making a projection of what, based on what we see, where do we think we're going to be, and so and so. It's kind of like reading the tea leaves about the intentional community movement, and the probabilities of this and that and the other. And it's kind of a, it's an intellectual exercise, but it helps with long-range strategic planning. So, in any event, Sonny, that gives us an overview of the Fellowship for Intentional Community, and then if you'd like, you could go into some of the specifics that you'd like to share.
Yeah, well, thank you, Phil. That was good. Did you say that, let's see, how many people are involved in, according to this, in communities now, this year?
2000, this is the census that they've got. And, there's some margin of error there, but presently, right now, we can officially say that there are actually 1,005 intentional communities in the United States.
1,005 communities. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a fair amount.
That's
a good amount. Yeah.
And now if you do a global census, it gets really exciting. Because it's happening everywhere.
If we had so many of these communities in the United States of America, there would not be any homeless people. Come on, let's get these communities going, right?
Yeah.
Everybody would be welcome.
I'm pushing.
There's a lot of them out there, and what I've noticed is people they're starting up. There's a lot of them that are just maybe they're just wanting to start up. They have the desire to get more people involved, and maybe they're just a couple or 4 people or something, and it looks
the focus that really that I think is really, really critical. This is why I'm babbling about gardens all the time. The urban gardens, vertical gardens, gardens. And it gets to be a broken record. But if we get enough food going, so it's readily available everywhere. Like sharing gardens is the best example. That's why I really visiting, going up to Monroe and spending some time up there, because if they found a little magic trick, we need to spread it around, because the only major problem that's going to be really serious in all this transition are food shortages. So if we really, get all these vegetables and fruits out there and get the distribution system going and take the anxiety and fear. Say, well, I can always get something to eat, so I don't have to worry about that. Now it's just a matter of finding a place to crash until I get someplace, a habitat or something, and I can get out of the weather. And so,
well, we're going to have replicators to add to the Star Wars commune, so we'll never have short of food. But in the transition,
I'm saying, Elizabeth, if we don't really consciously all together get busy and do that, and food needs aren't met, that's the only dark spot on the horizon, and so that's why I've got a lot of Jeff Lawton and Vladimir Davidson and a lot of people that are aggressively going around and educating people about growing food right in their own backyards. They're not 20 miles away. They don't need a car. They just have to get some skills together so they don't have to worry about eating.
Get away from the lawn thing and grow food in their backyards. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's very highly possible. And I just posted something from Facebook today about that all children in schools need to be given this basic instruction about how to grow food. Yeah, and that's just so essential. It's such a essential.
There's one elementary school in Oregon, and the teacher, the minute the kids get to school, his whole curriculum is in the garden that he has on the school grounds, and they learn everything in that garden, biology and physics and English, and it's all around sustaining themselves, and his kids are the happiest and the smartest and the brightest, and all the other teachers are really jealous.
Well, it would make a lot of sense they would be, because their learning is outside, close to nature, and they're not just shut in four walls, insulated and all that, which most schools are like. Yeah.
The vitality of knowing, just knowing that you have to breathe so the trees can grow, and they have to breathe so you can grow. It's a give and take here in this universe.
Well, it's good that they learn, that children learn how interdependent we are with all the other forms of life in nature, how interdependent. And so they don't learn that they can go out and just tack everything down and do this whole patriarchal thing, of taming in nature, cutting all the trees down and, whatever. So it's good that they learn that. Now, I've got a page up here which is about a American Permaculture and Transition Community Haven. It's in Oakland, Arkansas. And I thought that might be of interest to you. It's a focus on food. It's called A Patch in Paradise, is what they're calling it.
Yeah, this is, and the beauty of this thing is through all of these individual communities working as laboratories, each one of them is going to have a facet, and when there's a discovery made on they made some really inroads on I'm going to throw some dirty word out there, but like Monsanto, that genetically engineers the food. Spiritual engineering would be, if you can develop a plant, that can exist in the poorest soil with the least amount of rainfall and produce the greatest amount of protein, so that even in the harshest environments where people have the least amount of food, you can go in there and put this plant in the ground, and all of a sudden, voila, everybody's stomach's full, And so there is the spiritual engineering that's in harmony with the natural world, that isn't trying to destroy it, and then there's Monsanto who just wants to make money out of it and control it.
Yeah.
So there's, you have to keep an open mind and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and really take the good things and use them intelligently.
Well, Monsanto is like that big footprint that squashes everything down and just wants to do it all in their own way, in their own, recreate nature more or less. but it's really the small people in the local communities that this is where it's heading. This is where it's heading. Yeah.
That's where everything has come from and always will. That it's going to be coming from families and small communities. That's
supporting one another in the community, even just in a local area. To start out with, just supporting each other in a local area. Yeah.
I think the modern day word is the way that the universe is unfolding is in fractals, and these communities are assuming natural patterns that happen in nature. That are in sequence with the Fibonacci sequences and ratios. It's just a really natural thing. It's just amazing how this is growing. Finally we get to the point of we have an understanding of ourselves and our surroundings, and we're finding that harmony in it. It's just amazing.
Well, it's truly growing. This consciousness is definitely growing, and I see it eventually just becoming more and more connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not isolated. Yeah. And
all working together and independently at the same time.
Yeah, sure. We're all encouraged to develop our unique talents and abilities and use those in a cohesive whole to create a beautiful whole, like a diamond. I'm
more enthusiastic and excited than I have since I was a kid that was alert and oriented at his first Christmas. It's just exciting to see the new developments that are happening and how great how great the universe is and how wonderful it is to be alive.
Well, it's sure great to have that kind of enthusiasm, and it's certainly a good time to have it. It's like good things are happening.
We can have some fun.
Yeah, finally. Well, I ran across it. I don't know if this is listed on that site or not, but I saw something interesting on Facebook the other day, and it's in the Panamanian jungle. It's called Kaloyala, an off-the-grid startup creating the world's first sustainable modern town deep in the Panamanian jungle. And there's some nice pictures there. Yeah, it just really stood out. That Kaloyala means sacred land in the indigenous Kuna language. 7,000-acre community, 50 minutes from downtown, 7,000-acre, 50 minutes from downtown Panama City, lies in the belly of a breathtaking Panamanian rain valley. I mean, it sounds really almost paradisical. Off-the-grid village is at the intersection of North and South America. It has a clear message: to teach, to learn, to start a conversation, a business, or an adventure. We disconnect from the grid so that we can reconnect to one another and to what life is meant to be. And so this really looks like something quite beautiful down there. I know these
things that are blossoming are what was meant with Buckminster Fuller's quote is that there are a lot of really, really bright people, and if you went down there, you'd probably find a group of biologists and physicists and chemists, and they're all working together down there, and these diamonds are examples of the kind of communities And everybody will go down there and they'll take a piece of it and say, "Gee, this is what I want to do," and then make a variation, and then something will come from that. So it's just a garden that's just blossoming, you know.
Yeah. They go if they can't stay at that one, they could well get inspired to do something somewhere else. But this is
a twist, a different color, a different flavor. You know, and so it's not going to be we're not going to go for 1,000 miles and see Navajo white with red tile roofs, because that building plan is the most profitable, you know.
Red tile roofs, yeah. Not in Panama, I guess. I don't know what there's a picture here, and it's a gorgeous landscape. It's just so gorgeous. It's got blue
bits of fog. I have to leave you guys. I've got to get on a flight to Panama.
You just go.
Can I ask a question?
Forget about this.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I hate to put you guys on the spot, but let's just say, in your hearts, Dale and Sunny, one of you guys go first. If you were the creator of a community, just use your child imagination heart now. How would you create your community? Go.
I've got plenty of nonsense in my head, and then you guys can slap me into reality. So, okay. The first step when is selecting the site. Okay, and you know that.
Dale, tell us from your heart. What site would you select, and just take us on that journey.
This is it. Selecting the site, and you take all the considerations. The availability of water, the position that the land is in relation to the sun, and what you're going to do with how are you going to handle the infrastructure for safety and health. And I'm talking about water and sewage and water retention and where, you know, the viability of agriculture. You know, if I had my choices, I'd pick a climate where I've got at least 300 days of sunlight, and then I would have a master plan that would so these issues would not be a consideration. When you build the structures, you're not going to get cross connection, you're not going to get your water contaminated and make people sick, and you're not going to get in a situation where there's you're not going to be able to grow the food, and people you can't hold the community together because you haven't got a successful agricultural base. And then, okay, once the infrastructure and the design and the physical design, when we could start to go above ground, we'd say, well, you know, how can we incorporate the wind? And the ideal place that I would select right now, if I had my choice, it would be in San Quintin, Mexico, it's about 150 miles south of Ensenada, because there's a prevailing 25 knot wind year round, period. And
paint us a story. Paint us a story of what the daily goings on would be in your community that you would create.
Yep. Well, you first of all, I'm about efficiency, and so I would try to use all the modern technology and set up an automated agricultural system in the greenhouses, so that I would look at and it would have a specific limit to size. So I would size our agricultural position according to the population. So what we do is we say, okay, this is how many heads of lettuce we need, this is how many radishes, this is how many tomatoes, this is how many this, many that, and then I would control, because you have the sun's basically 365 days a year, really, and you've got a 12-knot wind, you've got all the power you need to actually create greenhouses with their own environment. So there isn't anything on Earth that grows that you wouldn't be able to grow there in the capacity that you need. So I would say maximum. I wouldn't want any more than 3,000 people. You know.
That's a lot of people, even.
Well, that would be a big. That would. I'm taking it. I'm talking. This would be the largest of intentional communities, and I would design it around the format of a community. You know, a small community college that has. And the way I would organize it is. The workload, you know, I wouldn't set any specific time for dinner. There would be dinner times when there would probably be more people gathering that time to share the meal together. But a person, you know, if I get stimulated by an idea or a thought, and I'm up and thinking about this thing, and I'm, you know, it's like a dream or something that's coming to me, and I just can't get to sleep, and I got to keep thinking about it. There's a 24-hour facility there where you can go in there yourself and fix a meal and you know, write down all your calculations and get, you know, scribble your music or what, you know, or paint your painting, and so it's a vibrant community that's open 24 hours a day, so it serves the individual's needs as he's inspired, you know, and that freedom is to go around. And take of the common facilities is there. The work. There's a daily bread issue that everybody has to do. So many, you know, a few hours a day to make the community function. But I would spend a lot of time designing that. So what we actually need and have to use. The labor to do that, I would be just like an efficiency expert in the design of the whole facility. So I'm not worried about not having enough places for people to work. I'm trying to do the work with as few as people as possible, so that the workload.
How about this? You know, the technology is coming out. You can set your whatever work needs to be done on technologies, and then have a switch where anybody easily could come if they felt like doing that the technology is doing. They can switch out the technology and do it just for their enjoyment. How about that one?
Yeah, I think actually the community garden is going to attract everybody. That's going to be like the kitchen, because they'll want to be around plants, and they'll want to get their hands in the dirt, and they'll want to. And then, you know, we've got people that want to dance, and they want to play music, and they want to write plays and produce plays and have plays. So along with all the and then there's that group that are crazy nuts about science. They're going to be in laboratories, and they're going to be, you know, just mad about discovering things and making things. So it's you know, you're going to have all this mixture.
So what would you name your community that you're creating? What would your heart say your community theme name would be, to get to know, to tell the world what your community is about? What would you put?
I would say well, you know, you guys might help me out on this, but you know,
takes a little thought to come up with just the right name.
Community of the alternative world. Number one.
There you go. You know, because and here is the thing that's really critical. That when you build it, you got to have all this thing, but with the advent of change that's going to take place, and the speed at which we're going to get new ideas, we don't want anything built that's difficult to take apart and replace.
That's not pliable. You want everything pliable, every vision and everything.
Nothing is. We may have some cement there out of necessity for structural reasons, but nothing is fixed. If let's say I've got a doctorate degree in structural engineering and electrical engineering, and I'm one of those wireheads, and a 10-year-old kid comes up to me and says, hey, why can't we do this? You know, and so I'm so immersed in minutia, I've lost the forest for the trees, and this kid comes up with the idea.
So we'll call it. We're going to add the pliability clause to all that you do and your visions. Yay!
That kid comes up. He could change the whole paradigm.
I'm more of a forest. Yeah, I'm more of a forest person.
Okay, Sonny, your turn. Your turn, Sonny. Now, if you were to create a community, how would you make it look out of your own heart? What kind of community would you make?
Well, Dale really covered a lot of the particular things, which I agree with, all of the ways of looking at the land and choosing land and all that. So I don't need to.
Just be a little child, and like you're telling us, just be a little child, and it's like you're in your community now. Just tell us about your community.
Yeah, well, my community is a beautiful place in nature, and it's very lush, but, you know, it has seasons, and it's not, doesn't overdo any one climactic kind of thing. And there are people, and the buildings are like geodesic type buildings. A lot of them are based on the Bucky Fuller model, and there's a lot of circular, the circle and spiral energy, which is part of nature as far as buildings and gardens are laid out. Rather than the square model, it's more of a circular model, and we meet regularly for sacred gatherings. I mean, nobody has to be any particular spiritual, but it seems like we're united in the fact that we love nature and we're close to nature, and we want to be in harmony, and we want to celebrate and honor the seasonal changes. So we meet at regular times, and we have ceremonies, and we have meditations together, and we just go into our higher selves to expand our vision and what our higher selves are telling us in what way we want to expand. So there's a very strong spiritual component here, but nobody's dictating how anybody should be or believe. It all comes from within us, from within our higher selves, and we are drawn together because of that, that we resonate with each other on a higher level. So
and what would be the name of your community that you would want the world to know, your name that would describe your community?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking something very nature-oriented, like Gaia's Rainbow Fountain, or something of that nature. You know, something,
like Fountainhead?
Something like that. You know, I could think about it some more and come up with a more.
Yeah.
But I
you
like
want to
that.
hear mine?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. First of all, to let the world know we're there, there'd be like a big flagpole taller than that, and hanging from the flagpole's bent over on the top, and hanging from that is a big disco ball. You know those disco balls that have little squares of mirrors, and you spin them and they shine.
Oh yeah.
That's depicting that everybody's a diamond and it shines here, and come and have fun.
Oh yeah. It's symbol.
Let's see. My community would be like a community out of a community, like a vacation community where people could come and have fun, and the meditation time will be getting drunk in the Holy Ghost, drunk in the glory of God, happy heals, and it's a mystical experience, and there would be my community would be a pioneering community where people that like to think out of the box and want to take a vacation, but a vacation in sort is they got lots of ideas, lots of visions, and they just can't keep it inside anymore, and they'll come there, and the background or where they live will help them just to be in their pioneering mode, and at the same time, fun place to come and our pioneering ideas would float to the world somehow. So that's as far as I got so far.
That sounds great. And I want to add to mine, as you said, to have fun, that the aspect of music and art, and that people are just talented musicians there, which has been in my former experience in communities, creative people, and just and have celebration and healing, and really have it be a healing place. Yeah.
So while we're on this subject, Sunny and Dale, there's some people online. Let's see if you guys come in and give us your ideas. If you were to start a community, how would your community be? Just what's in your heart, what you envision. So let me make sure the room's open, and just *6 and come in and give us your little story. It's kind of okay. The room is open. If you want to come in, *6. If not, that's okay. Maybe. Go ahead, you guys. Yeah.
No, I was looking at the Ringing Cedars communities, which Candy is so interested in, and there's one in the Italian Alps. I just thought it might be interesting just to share a little bit about that. And it's in the Italian Alps. It sounds really something that was really idealistic, but it's probably very remote. And they've been in operation for 9 years, co-creating the new earth, living on sacred land in a sacred way. For the past 9 years, we've been designing our lifestyle for the future and beginning to build this a reality. In the Valchiusola, I don't know if I'm spelling that right, Valley, that's, I guess, where it is. So these people are they've all read the Ringing Cedars books, and it says membership, there's 12 members right now, and they're open to new members. So it just kind of captured my imagination to think of a community in the Italian Alps, land owned by individual community members. So I guess it's a matter of people bringing in their own, buying their parcels or wherever they're going to have their houses. It says, we live in geodesic domes, caravans too. So that's just one thing. And then there was another site where, if I thought I had it up here, where it listed the Ringing Cedars communities. Oh, here it is, in the United States and other places. There's one in Australia. There's one in Maui, but it's Conscious Birth Settlement. It's educational center and sanctuary for conscious birth, and that's on Maui, and that's pretty appropriate for there because there's such a focus on mothering and all. There's one in Arizona called Living Earth Village in Arizona. These are all Ringing Cedars communities. Then there's one in Arizona, Intentional Community, Dolan Springs, Arizona. Then I looked this up, Anastasia's Garden in Mount Shasta, but the website wouldn't come up. But it's anastasiasgarden.com, so I can't find out anything more about that. And then there's one in Fort Worth, Texas called Heart Tribe. There's one in Idaho. So there's quite a few of them are in the United States. There's one in Florida, Ringing Cedars of Florida. So I thought it would be interesting to let people know how many of these do exist or starting to exist and grow. There's a few of them in Canada, 3 of them listed. Ecuador, Costa Rica, the Netherlands, Russia, of course. So, so for anyone that's interested, it's ringingcedarscommunities.blogspot.com for anyone wants to look into that.
Duly noted.
Yeah, so.
Elizabeth, something just hit me like a hammer over the head when you mentioned vacations. And now let's all three of us expand our minds a little bit. And okay, this thing is growing and growing and growing, and there are tens of thousands of communities all over the world now. And so together, collectively, we're networking, and we're cooperating with each other. And then these issues of public works jobs, the big things like building Golden Gate bridges, and I'm using that for an example as a major project that everybody can benefit from. And so we let's just say we've got to the point where we don't want to stay in one place our whole lives, and we've developed a method of interchanging, like students come from other places and in today's world and go to school in other places. Well, we have to, the world has to be more mobile, like the birds. You don't stay in the snow and starve when it's 80 degrees and sunny towards the equator. So we have to develop ecologically sound and sustainable transportation systems so that we can go anywhere in the world, and we have you pull up the computer and you say, well, I want to study music for 10 years and learn music, and so you go on the job board and you say, well, there's an open position open in this fraternity, and it's a musical conservative, and it's located in Hawaii, and I can go there and learn music, and I can sign up for the 10-year thing. I would change my mind, and I want to only be there a couple of years. So we have to create the circumstance for the individual to move around freely all over the world according to the inspiration on him, because the issue is, we want everybody productive, fulfilled, and happy. That's our objective.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if you have a dream some night and say, "Gee, I'd really like to," you look on the job board and you say, "Boy, this is really what I want to do," And I said, you don't have to talk to anybody because the infrastructure is in place to get you where you want to go, and so the whole world will be, I'm going to use this word for lack of a better one, but the whole world will be snowbirds. The whole world will be moving around and commuting and connecting and experiencing. They're not going to be stuck in a cubicle in a high rise for 30 years. Retire and drop dead from heart attack.
Yeah, we're going to have transporters that get us from one edge of the world to the other edge of the world in 2 seconds. Hello, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah. Global community, bringing together the global community. And that, with the One World Family we had, I really, because we had the projects in Maui and we had projects in California, and the whole idea was we could rotate, we could go to these other places and experience something different, So I really like that idea, we didn't have to be just in one place all the time if we didn't want to be.
And then let's join it with the Galactics, and let's join it with the Galactics. They can stay in our communities, and we stay in their air cities and their communities.
Well, at some future point, that no doubt it's going to take place. But I mean, right now, today, with the level that we're at, Elon Musk is talking about when you send those when you go to a bank and you're at the drive-thru and you have that container and you shoot your money into the bank and they shoot it back at you in this air tube. Well, he's got this design for an air tube train that goes 600 to 700 miles an hour, and you could float it on top of the ocean, or put it underneath the ocean, or put it across land, and it's a technology that's sustainable. It doesn't produce any harmful byproducts or exhaust gases, So,
actually, Dale, the Galactics have shared with us. The Kabbalah has a whole network like that, transportation network, that they get around really fast. That's already set up for us. That's coming back to whatever they all built for their stuff, their tricks. We get to have that. It's already set up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're trying to cloister the intellectual property, and that all those new great ideas are gifts for everybody to enjoy. It's not into individual personal property, and we're going to have these communities organized. We're going to have the transportation systems to get around freely, and what is it? Life is but a joy.
And to add to all that, older people such as I, who are, not physically as strong as younger people and may need a little extra care, and we could still, be supported because in the community we're being supported, and we can. If we need to want to go someplace else, there'll be those there that can really help us with whatever we need to do.
We're going to get back to the right place in our minds, and the most in the indigenous people's world, the most valuable people in the community are the elders, and in this system, because if you're in a society where you spent your whole life learning, then that's where the wealth is, you and the wisdom, and so it's like the elderly are going to be treasured and taken care of, because the reality is everybody gets old,
But we need to be honored for our wisdom of having been on the planet as long as we have been, and being,
I was remember you sent me that Facebook thing about the BBC that was looking for cast members to go up and put that community together up in the Sierra somewhere. They were.
Did I see that? Are you asking? I don't remember.
There's a casting call for people.
Oh, that. Yes, I posted that myself, and I didn't quite. I didn't quite even talking about that. Yeah, that is an interesting project.
Now, ask yourself. Yeah. Right now, if you and I were 18, we would be jumping on that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We were jumping on that. I mean, I'm just telling you. Listen, I wouldn't accept a no out of you. I just grab you by the hand and say, "Let's go."
That was posted by our local people here that have a group. It's a Facebook page, and people are talking about community. And I invited him once again to be a guest, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. But that was on his page, and I thought that the BBC is sponsoring this. And it's like a year of people living in.
I'm going to send in, a detailed resume, and if I get picked, I'm just going to, I'll be broadcasting the intentional community program from that startup. I just think that, my background, like I say, I'm a retired mechanical contractor. I just kind of get my fingers in there.
Yeah, so you're gonna contact them. That'd be interesting.
I'm gonna send a resume. Everybody's visit. I don't know if there's a place for a 65-year-old meet up guy, but I'm not gonna let my thoughts count me out. I'll put it all out there and say, these are my needs. I'm not going to be a burden on the community, but there's going to be a limit of what I can contribute physically. But I have all the knowledge that I've gained after being in the construction business for 50 years, and that's got to be worth something, So, but I would love to just give you like a 5-minute update on how the community is developing, you know, it'd be right there where the BBC's telling their story. I could be on the phone, and you know, when things get developed enough, then you know, maybe you guys can come up and visit once in a while.
Not sure where it's going to be, but yeah, it is an interesting concept.
I don't think they've selected a site yet.
No.
Yeah. So they're going to get the people and the place, and then the people that are there are going to put the thing together.
Mhm. Yeah, it's an experiment, but it could be a very fertile experiment. Know,
in the back of my mind, I want to be there to make sure that it's successful. If I see you know, if I can see like a red flag coming up that's going to prevent this thing from happening, because I want it to be a success, and I want it to be broadcast around the world. You know, I don't want anything negative about intentional communities. You know, so I feel like, well, I'm not that I'm going to shoot my mouth up, but I'm going to participate and just observe and participate, but I think when they vet these people, they're going to be you know, pretty specific about what they're looking for, so it will be a success. You know.
Yeah, and it's be out in the public eye. So what happens there? It kind of made me think of that TV show or Survivor or something like that. But it's a lot more you know, cohesive than that. But you know, getting people together to do something, you know, and then have it be broadcast, how it works and how it unfolds, and you know, a real life thing. You know, not actors, but a real life thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'd like to be walking the walk while I'm talking the talk. That's the other thing. Well, what do you know about intentional communities? Well, I'm living in one right now, and we're developing it. So well,
it's great if you feel that motivation. I'd love to be in one myself. In my current condition, it's just up to the spirit.
If I'm there, I'm going to be on this broadcast every Tuesday, and you'll be there, and you'll be there in spirit, and that's the main thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all up to how spirit leads us.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of an invalid, but all that could change. You know, just the body's going through some real changes. But I guess we'll have it.
Is there anybody on the line that would like to come in right now?
Yeah.
Before Sonny and Dale finish up, any questions, comments? What's your dream of a community if you were to have one? How would you do it? You want to come on and say that? Anything, or just say hi, *6. Come on.
Is there anybody out there?
Ooh, ha,
Last week, Elizabeth, Sonny and I officially invited a guest, the audience from the unseen world to come in and be a part of it too, because they're very vital. And
nice.
So. Yeah, and so just because there aren't any mortals at the present time listening, that doesn't mean that there isn't somebody listening.
Oh, no doubt there's many listening on many levels.
So
and there will be more. Yeah, there will be more.
You have to look at it like we get a chance to polish this, and the more every time we do it every week, it's going to be more professional and more attractive. You know, right now it's just it's a diamond in the rough.
Right, and it's interesting because these last two sessions have been really on the fly for me because of my situation and my recovery from surgery. And today I was in town seeing a doctor and just got home 20 minutes before the show starting. Then I went, okay, this, I'm going to do this, and Spirit's going to come through me and do it, and all right, here we are. We did it. We did it once again. Yeah. And I have some guests in mind, for the future. And it's probably a hard time to guess because it's right around the holidays anyway.
I'm happy with the way the programming is going as far as the content of the show that we just kind of wing it and let it happen. Nobody's and not to rehearse. And I spend the week with the idea. Well, if I'm tapped on the shoulder to put something together, what am I going to do? So I try to have something it's kind of sketchy that we can move into the program.
Mhm. Yeah, it's good. Yes, and good to always have some ideas floating around. Yeah, but this seemed to be tonight getting back to the intentional community focus, and I felt it went well. It's a good discussion.
Very good, excellent.
Yeah.
It made me tingle the minute you mentioned it.
I thought so. I thought it would. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
and you guys, if you listen, stay tuned for tomorrow, Wednesday. There will be no show, but Thursday, Cynthia's having her long show for astrology. What's coming up? So everybody, stay tuned for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Elizabeth, while you're here, I want to get involved in the program that you're putting together in January. What is the cost of participation?
Just $20.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Give me 10.
So, just call me offline. And you gave the wrong number, my wrong phone number last time. Let me give the right number to call if you guys want to get in on that call. It's going to be towards. We scheduled that call today with Chris, so
you have a date.
I'm going to be letting everybody know who wants to join when it's going to be. And my number is 612 670 9120. 9120. Okay, I'm going to repeat it to you so I got it right. 612-670-9120. Okay. You got it.
So as it is written, so shall it be. And,
okay.
Okay.
Elizabeth, as soon as the eagle hits the landing field, I will be giving you a call. And when is the date of the program?
I'm not going to give that over the line. I'll give it to everybody that's joining in privately. Yeah.
But, all right.
You got, yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, in a couple of weeks, something like that.
We're going to see
somewhere in January.
How tight our ship is. So
somewhere in January. In January already, I talked to Chris today. January, we're having 3 different special shows where people can join. It's going to be private, but people can join live. And there's 3 different subjects, and it's very awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sounds real interesting.
Once again, you are a diamond, my dear.
You are.
Once again, this is Voices from the Alternative World tonight on Tuesday night. Don't miss it every Tuesday, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes. Tune in every Tuesday. It's going to get better and more interesting.
Better and better.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Mel Fankhauser will be back soon. He wants to be back. And
cool.
So I have other people that are interested. It's just a matter of the right timing for everybody.
Happy New Year, and it doesn't matter if you have guests or yourself, because every week God will give you ideas through the week, and you just talk from your heart. Don't plan, just talk from your heart.
Exactly.
And share, because the God knows that you're doing this show, so He's giving you things to put out to the world. So just do it faithfully. Okay, love you guys. See you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Love you all.
Good night, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.